Welcome YouTube, welcome family. I just wanted to make a little video. I'm just about to leave Mother India, and it's very hot now. It's the kind of peak of the dry season, and we've had amazing spring water for the last few months, and now it's just starting to dry up a little bit. In fact, the main spring only works in the morning, and we're kind of at the backup spring now, where we're actually taking water from a little pool in the ground. It kind of filters through. Spring water is the most amazing natural resource. It's becoming scarcer and scarcer to find around the world now, as we're all living with municipal water supplies. But it's great when you can live somewhere and actually drink water directly from the land. I wanted to show you a couple of little cool things that we have here. For those of you who are travelling around and you don't actually know a safe water source, there's an incredible piece of equipment that I've discovered. It's called a Scarcity pen, and it's a UV pen. You dip it into water and then you stir it around for about a minute, and what it does is it disrupts the DNA of all those bacteria that kind of grow in your stomach and make you feel sick. So if you don't know if the water supply is good or not, it's a great piece of kit to have when you're travelling, called a Scarcity pen. So let me show you what we have to do here to get water. I've got my trusty glass water bottle that travels around the world with me. Oh wow, the monkeys have come to say hello. We're using a little cup here to fill up with water. As I said, up until about a month ago, we had a beautiful stream, which I'll probably put a still shot of in this video so you can see. So yeah, you could just go there, put a bottle and fill up. But now we are really getting an understanding of how precious water is, and especially in this heat. So important to be hydrated. So for me, it's been a great lesson in gratitude and awareness about this amazing resource that we have. I think our bodies are made up of about 60% water. It's so important for all the life on this planet. And there's actually one other thing I'd like to talk about while we're here, and that is about the issue of contaminated water supplies. Now, water supplies can be contaminated in many different ways. One of the most obvious ways is through environmental pollution. Fracking is another very big issue, and then all of the chemicals and pesticides and all the other stuff that goes into our water supply and that leaches into the water table is what I call human engineering or suppression. And what's happening in many parts of the world is that fluoride, amongst other things, but one of the most obvious things, is being added to the water supply. It's added to the water supply under the pretense that it's good for us, that it's good for our teeth, and it's actually something that's beneficial for humankind. But if you actually start to do some research into fluoride, and especially the type of fluoride that's added to the water supply, it's actually a very serious neurotoxin, and it has an effect of suppressing people's spirituality and keeping them in a very 3D material kind of plane, which is very unhelpful for human evolution, and it has some very bad health effects. It's very worth doing some research to find out if fluoride is added to your water supply. As a general rule, fluoride is in the water supply in most of America. By America, I'm talking about North America. I think it's in about half of the Canadian water supply, pretty much all of the United States. I think there's a couple of places like Portland where it isn't in the water supply, maybe a couple of places on the East Coast as well, and all the way through Central and South America as well, they fluoridate. Now there's two main ways to do it. As I mentioned, the most common way that it's done is in the water supply. It's added to water supply, so that means it's in absolutely everything. Very hard to avoid. Of course, you can drink bottled water or collect fresh spring water, but anything with any kind of water content is going to have fluoride in. So any food that's grown on a municipal supply will have fluoride in it. Also, if you wash and bathe in the water, then you're going to have an issue as well, especially as the skin is actually the biggest organ we have in our body, and it's very, very absorbent. So when you're in fluoride water, it's kind of actually worse than drinking it in the sense of the amount of material that's actually absorbed. So yeah, fluoride very, very hard to avoid, but it's not only in the water supply. In some countries, instead of putting it in the water supply, they put it in the salt. So you can actually see on the packets of salt, it'll say that fluoride is added. That's obviously a little bit easier to avoid, but yeah, it's still a problem, because obviously whenever you go out to eat or anywhere like that, it's difficult to control. You'll see some people who are aware kind of like carry their little pots of salt around with them and salt their own food. But yeah, when it's in the water supply, it's obviously the most insidious, because it's very, very hard to avoid. You can't buy drinks anywhere. Any processed food with liquid in it is going to have the fluoride in. Of course, it's in, yeah, when you bathe, etc., etc. So yeah, fluoride is a very horrible thing that's going on this planet, and it's really keeping humankind in a suppressed state. And yeah, what it does is, on a deeper level, is it kind of suppresses your pineal gland and your access to consciousness. Keeps people very, malleable, easy to control, and makes them quite gullible in a way. So they kind of, believe what they're told by the state and don't question things for themselves, and just, think that everything's okay. It's quite interesting, if you live outside a fluoride zone and you travel into it, you can find yourself, if you're sensitive, and be aware over a few days, as you kind of like go under into this kind of like fluoride fog, you start to feel this kind of like everything's okay and there's, not any problem. And then when you come out again, you're like, hang about, what was going on there? Anyway, just a little thing I wanted to raise people's awareness. So there's plenty of videos here on YouTube and plenty of information on the internet and around, so you can actually do your own research into this and not just take my word for it. But yeah, it's a very, very serious issue, and it's very important that we raise awareness on this planet and remove this from our water supply, so that we can really start walking in the light and really connecting with who we are as human beings, and what our purpose is here. Hey, Gypsy! Gypsy! How you doing there? This is our trusty friend Gypsy. He's been looking after us here in the jungle. He's just had a little bit of a dip. I'm going to do the same thing myself. Yeah, thank you for listening, guys. Like and subscribe, and yeah, looking forward to sharing more videos with you and more adventures. I'm just about to have a little jump into this little amazing pool in the jungle of fresh spring water to cool off. As you can see, it's pretty warm here. So yeah, peace out. Thanks for watching.